NEC Article 430.102 addresses the location requirements for disconnecting means for motor circuits. The general rule is that the disconnecting means, which could be a circuit breaker or a switch, must be within sight from the motor location. This ensures that anyone working on the motor can visually verify that the power is disconnected, enhancing safety. However, there is an exception to this rule outlined in Article 430.102 exception. The exception allows the disconnecting means, or in this case, the motor starter, to be located out of sight from the motor, provided two conditions are met. Firstly, the motor starter must be capable of being locked in the open position. This lockable feature ensures that the starter can be secured in the off position, preventing accidental energization while maintenance or repairs are performed on the motor. Secondly, the motor starter must be located within 50 feet of the motor. This proximity requirement is intended to provide reasonably easy access to the starter in case of emergencies or for routine operations. In the scenario presented, the combination motor starter is not within 50 feet of the motor. It's approximately 600 feet away, which significantly exceeds the allowable distance specified in the exception. Since one of the key conditions of the exception is not met, the installation does not comply with the NEC. Therefore, to meet code requirements and ensure safety, a circuit breaker must be installed between the overhead line and the combination motor starter. This circuit breaker will serve as the disconnecting means and will provide a local means of disconnecting power to the motor circuit. The purpose of overcurrent protection, in this case the upstream 400 amps breaker, is to protect the conductors from overloads and short circuits. It does not function as the disconnecting means required by Article 430.102 when the motor starter is out of sight and beyond the 50-foot limitation. The 350 kc mil copper overhead line feeding the system must be appropriately sized for the load and protected by the 400 amps breaker. The #2/0 tap conductor must also be sized and protected according to the NEC, typically requiring it to be protected at its ampacity unless tap rules allow for other protection. The combination motor starter itself typically includes overload protection to protect the motor from excessive current draw that could cause overheating and damage. To summarize, the installation as described does not meet the requirements of NEC Article 430.102 exception because the motor starter is located more than 50 feet from the motor. A circuit breaker is required between the overhead line and the combination motor starter to comply with the NEC and ensure a safe installation.